All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we're going through Proverbs 11, verses 8 through 9. Let's get it. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and the wicked walks into it instead. With his mouth, the godless man would destroy his neighbor. So, based on interpretation of this, I would say being righteous helps you avoid trouble, and wickedness helps you find trouble. Really basic. I mean, that's what it says in verse 8. And then in verse 9, you kind of see that coming into fruition, where it's like, with your mouth, with your words, without God, you will destroy your neighbor, implying that with God, with knowledge, with true knowledge, you are delivered. So, self-improvement application of this is phase 8, measuring results. I would say look around you. How often are you finding yourself in trouble, and how often are you finding yourself being delivered? I think that's how you can kind of get at the wickedness or the righteousness within you. For example, well, when was this? When was this? I was in high school, right? And I wanted to help a friend out in on the varsity football team. We were in the same chemistry class. I would finish my quiz real quick. And I would always get 90s or 100s or whatever it may be. But then I would let him look at my quiz so that we could play on Fridays, all that kind of mumbo jumbo that high school kids on the varsity team do. And, our teacher caught us because we weren't slick and he's not stupid. And he looked at us and he said, I'm gonna give you guys not the benefit of the doubt, but some grace here, and just don't let it happen again. And we didn't let it happen again. And had I been a repeat offender, or had he kind of caught us multiple times, or didn't like us because we were rude to him or always calling him out, um, we wouldn't have been delivered. But we were delivered there. Some grace was extended our way because I think for the most part, we were acting pretty right in his class as opposed to wrong. And I think that's a small story of how some wickedness might have made a good event go wrongly, go poorly. If I had always been giving that teacher a hard time, always calling him names, he would have tried to make my life hard. Because I was generally a good student, he could see I wasn't trying to be a bad kid. He kind of helped me out, gave me some grace. So that was cool. That's a cool story of that happening in my life. And I just learned that when somebody does give you some grace, make sure you respect it. So, self-improvement application, measure some results. I saw in that moment that I was caught in the kind of midst of wickedness, and it was creating trouble for me. And I redirected because I got some help, some guidance from somebody who was gracious towards me because I had a foundation of righteousness, if you will. I was just by and large not a bad kid in his class. And then the entrepreneurial application of this is stage 2. When thinking of your offer, think, is your offer serving me? I would say that is my offer serving me is the question you should ask yourself. That errs on the side of wickedness. Is my offer actually serving my client? That errs on the side of righteousness, I would say. And it's like, you're putting people above yourself. You're choosing to love other people with your offer, or are you just looking to line your pockets? And I think every offer has both to some extent. But the question is, how much? And are they truly receiving more value than you're receiving? And if you have a successful business, they probably are. But if you don't have a successful business, they probably aren't, right? But anyway, that's kind of how business works. You just have to give more value than you get. But think about your offer and think about who it actually serves and how you can get it to serve the customer better. Where has this shown up in my life? I kind of told you guys a story of it, but generally avoiding trouble outwardly since being a child. Um, I just didn't get in trouble. I was a goody goody two shoes, but emotional trouble from not dealing with some wickedness. So no wickedness outwardly, but I internalized all of that and didn't deal with it. Because I didn't deal with it, now there are some patterns of just wanting a bit of chaos in my life every now and then, or kind of wanting to self-sabotage a bit that I can't quite shake because the emotions feel strong. And so, just kind of weeding out that wickedness in my life is where I wanted to show up, kind of understanding what thoughts and beliefs are behind those emotions or fueling those emotions, and then getting rid of them because they're simply not true, right? It's not how God called me to be. It's not how I want to be. So why would I allow it to happen? And how can you guys apply this to your life? I would say, see how often you're getting troubling results in your life. Just measure your results. And once you track that troubling result back to an action, a feeling, a thought, or a belief, now you can start to deal with it at the root of the trouble. So again, when I was measuring results in my high school story, I'd started to create troubling results for myself with my teacher. And I was able to track that back to the action of, trying to make sure everybody on the varsity team was passing class, which was the feeling of trying to people please, which was the thought of thinking I had to be responsible for stuff because we were all on a team together. It's like, well, not to my own downfall, right? And that's kind of the thought that I had to rectify, and the feeling of people pleasing I had to get rid of, which remedied the action, which led to results that were more pleasing for my life, for his life, for the teacher's life, everybody's life involved. So that's what we got for you guys today on the show. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.